and I am recording. So this is kind of an experiment, really. I am filming on my 4K camera, and now if you've seen my last little mini update, you'll know that I've got a new computer.
I am Detective Clive Harper. 10 years ago, tragedy struck this town when a family went missing. Since then, strange things have happened in the West Sussex area. This is my investigation into the never-ending circle of this case.
I'm back, boys! So hopefully I should be able to edit this along with last month's NickeRMel update, which is playing on the screen, but it's very blurred out at the moment, so you can't see it. But I wanted to release last month's update because not much has changed since then. It's been quite a busy month, and we've had massive roadworks going on outside our house for like weeks and weeks and weeks, so filming around here has been a bit of a nightmare. So just to kind of like, you know, bridge you into this NickeRMel update, not much has changed. We might be cutting stuff soon, and that's just about it. But I will catch up with you again after the main update, just to tell you about what's the next plan. So enjoy last month's update, and I'll see you soon. And hopefully once I put this on the computer I can edit it and we'll begin 4K. See you in a bit. Have fun. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Hello everyone, and welcome to this April 2026 NickeRMel update. Today we'll be talking about Memory Remains, my dad's original EP from the 80s, and the upcoming Memory Remains video diary, as well as status on our current updates. So, Memory Remains is now out. Steve and Dave's baby has finally been finished and released to the world. I am so glad that this film is now out for people to see. It was a fantastic experience to be a part of this film. Paul Burton was such a fantastic and interesting character to play, and very relatable in some ways. If you've seen the film, you know, don't spoil it for people, but if you haven't seen the film, go watch it now. Watch it now, it's a fantastic piece of art. But yeah, that was such an interesting experience to work on, and obviously, as I mentioned, there will be an upcoming video diary that covers the reshoots of the film, as well as the premiere that we did at the Waverley, so that would be very, very interesting for people to see. You also get to see some more behind the scenes images, specifically from the reshoots, that deals with, spoiler alert, spoiler, the Paul Burton, you know, Deadpool scenes, you know, where he's all covered in blood, and I think Dave filmed some of that, so that was really, really fun to do. And it's going to be really exciting for people to see the behind the scenes of that, because it was such a fun thing to do. And I could probably still quote you some of the lines, to be personally honest. They're ingrained in my head now, and that was such a interesting experience to work on, specifically with, you know, I think this was one of the first things that is completely external from, say, me writing it or me directing it, or, you know, this was simply me acting in a film and producing it and releasing it. So that was such fun to, you know, almost take myself out of the equation when it comes to all this, all the lights, all the filming, you know, and just act, or just, you know, bring the equipment in, and you know, Steve, you know, going over and going, right, we're filming Memory Remains, here you go, Steve, and this, you know, this world is yours, you know, get at it. And that was such a wonderful experience, and the way Steve makes films has really kind of helped me, I think, because I'd say we do have similar aspects when it comes to filming, but also some very different things. So the way he kind of plans out everything like months in ahead, like he's going to do this here, this here, this here, and managed to get us everything so organised. Like, I've got to hand it off to him, he did a fantastic job. And they're both, like Steve and Dave, wrote a fantastic story. So please, if you haven't watched it, go watch it now. And yeah, aside from that, when it comes to external things to talk about, Memory Remains, we've obviously got this last video diary coming out at some point.
Yeah, it's the next page.
Behind the scenes of Nicholas Reed.
Hang on. Barney gets up and leaves the room. The apparition of Paul appears next to Marker.
Yeah, but it's not, his face isn't revealed yet.
Okay.
Got it on my phone.
Go.
Must be out of biscuits. Hello, Marcus. Are you ready to talk to me yet? It's very rude to ignore people, you know. Hey, psycho!
Please don't yell.
Finally, some communication.
We've got audio and visual commentaries that we've been talking about doing. Obviously this big inside making of where I need to sit Steve and Dave down and interview them. And there's also a few things we did quite early, like a script read through, and there's also a really funny alternate cut of Memory Remains that is Steve's storyboards all cut together to make a cut of Memory Remains using the read through audio. So that might be an interesting watch to do. But when it comes to alternate cuts of Memory Remains, obviously the film that you saw is Steve's director's cut. Will there be an extended cut? Not anytime soon, but there is a load of deleted scenes that got taken out of the film, you know, a few lines here, a few lines there, and there's a whole bit of the ending that's been cut out that with Robin's character, Dr. Barney. So, you know, there's footage and deleted scenes that we could show off at some point, but I need to preface that Steve at the moment, you know, he's just like finished with the project. He just kind of wants a bit of time away from it before he goes back to visit it, and we do the interviews and the insides and stuff like that. So it's something that will be coming, you know, later. And obviously talking about inside projects, you know, jumping off the Memory Remains train and back onto mine. It's something we've been working on for ages now, as the inside making of The Businessman. Obviously we filmed interviews with myself, my dad and Steve for The Businessman. Again, I'd like to get a couple more interviews in there, but if we don't, I'll release it as is. So I guess we move on to the current projects. Those of you, my cast and crew, that have seen it, I've completed essentially the title sequence for Detective Harper Reports, and it looks sick. I love it. A load of people that I've actually just kind of shown, you know, friends, they were like, oh my god, that looks really professionally done, which I'm really like really giddy about, because I did it all in this lounge, funnily enough, on a table, and did the reports, and I think it works really well. As for the show itself, it's almost very nearly done. Like episode 1 and 2 are pretty much, aside from the cameos of the roles of Luther Campbell and Spectre, who are both cast, just waiting for the actors to be available, aside from those bits scenes with them in, show is done. I just need to kind of lock down, edit them all together, and then that show is ready out there, and you're primed for Object Legacy. So, segueing onto Object Legacy, when it comes logistically to it, it feels like there's so much to do, but when you break it down into sections, there's not that much to do. You've got the villain arc, shall we say, which is only a few scenes with a few certain characters. Like you've got Robin's Nathaniel character kind of like coming in, the villain meeting, you know, a scene that shows Nathaniel's dominance with killing someone that I can't spoil, and then you move on to slight villains that kind of set up the future that may involve something else. So logistically, you got that, and then we've also got bits. Unfortunately, we lost one scene when I lost my hard drive a few years ago, and I won't spoil it because it's one of my favourite scenes, but it involves Harvey playing Andrew Myers. That's all I'll say about that. So hopefully we'll be reshooting that soon. And then, when I think about it, there isn't that much left to do for Object Legacy. And like with Steve, kind of wanting to be done with Memory Remains, that's almost how I feel about Object Legacy now. I just kind of want to get it finished, get it out to the world, people show it to people and go, look, it is done. It's been worked on for this year, 14 years now. I'm done with it. Sure, there was like a 6-year break in production where I gave up filming, but it's done. Here you go. And then we move on to Final Report. Now, Final Report, we obviously started that back up in February with Melanie and Deborah jumping onto the film. And as I said, last NickeRMel update, I always imagined Melanie as Anna Harper and building up that family, so that's exciting. And then the next couple of sequences that we've been filming, I've been filming this kind of training montage for Jack, where he's kind of working out, building up. Let's get in there. Got a punching bag and all that. I might show you some photos if I can load them up now of the training sequence, or some footage maybe. But yeah, this training sequence, even though it's ended up in Final Report, was supposed to be like part of the announcement trailer for the Gathering Vigilantes project when we were still going to make that quite a few years ago. So that's exciting. And then I think in May we're filming a bit more of Final Report with hopefully a few members of Team Hotel, so that's going to be very exciting. I can't wait for you to meet Team Hotel. It's going to be wonderful to actually meet a proper full Warriors team. Obviously we've had Seth, Jack and Fred as a Warriors team, with Carl obviously part of the same team but obviously at different times. So it's going to be very exciting to see a full team all together. But as I was talking about with the training scene being in Gathering, it's something I wanted to establish with the Gathering Vigilantes as a whole, is that storyline, even though we're not going to make it, is still canon to the world. So these Gathering Vigilantes still exist in the world. They're still referenced in Detective Harper reports, in Object Legacy, in Final Report. So even though that story hasn't officially been told, it still happened. So how are we going to get around that per se? Well, when I decided I wasn't going to go forward with it, not completely cancelling it, but not go forward with it, I thought it was going to be a logistical nightmare to make. And also, a bit like with introducing certain future characters that I won't mention in the latter half of Final Report, I didn't want to put faces to characters that I knew would probably be recast. Say for instance, if my dream happened, we got picked up by a studio, they go, here you go, here's all the money in the world, go make your stories. Well, yeah, okay, that would be, I'd be like, okay, right, all this cast, come with me. But that's not how it works, unfortunately. You'd have producers and God knows what, people that control the money go, we want these actors for this. So with Final Report, I wanted to lay a slate down going, we've told the story from here. There's a clear line where you can start anew, but I don't want to erase anything that was under the line. But then you can essentially with that line go, right, that story's been told, several years have happened, here's the new cast, and these are the new cast that are playing new and existing characters. So it didn't make sense to do Gathering, because Gathering was envisioned as a trilogy, and they're all kind of like set several years apart. And even though the first Gathering film is set during the events of the West Sussex incident and the Object Saga, it's not really completely a part of that Object Saga. So if I did make it, I'd be making the first part of a trilogy where all the actors after the first film would get recast. So it didn't make sense to make it now only for 1/3 of the trilogy to kind of have completely different faces. You know, obviously if I had everything my way, I'd bring everyone back. That would be the dream, but obviously that's not how it works. So yeah, that is something we're thinking of in the future. So obviously I've talked about Detective Harper reports, I've talked Object Legacy, and I've talked Final Report. So the question is, what do we do after that? Well, I've already announced that I want to do something with the existing footage of Doctor Who, whether we cut it into a short film or films, or try and finish off the series, is still in the mindset. I want to do something with the comedy movie footage, and there's other things that haven't been released as well. That stuff will not be worked on yet, not until at least Detective Harper reports and Object Legacy are done. I don't want to even think about anything. I can handle more than one project, but when it starts piling up to like 2 or 3, it's just too much. That's what was nice about having Memory Remains, is you could have, you know, it's not really, you know, completely my responsibility. It was Steve's kind of like working around it. So I'd just kind of come in and go, right, what am I doing acting wise? What am I doing producing wise? And then Steve would kind of hand it over the reins and manage that situation, shall we say. Whereas when it comes to Object Legacy, Final Report, Detective Harper reports, everything is on me. So that's why I don't want to work on anything else yet, like as a main focus, kind of like everything director, writer is on me. I need to get 1 or 2 of them out of the way before I can start thinking about anything else. But coming on to, as I just mentioned, the whole, you know, working with someone else to produce their film, that is what I want to do in the future. I've obviously mentioned it in the past, so if any of you live near in the area or maybe a bit further out and you want your film or story told, please let me know. Come talk to me. We'll see what we can do. If you want to borrow the camera, the microphone, the lights, whatever equipment we've got, and you want a story to be told and I can facilitate that and help you, come to me. I will happily make your film. It will be an honour to help make other people's films. That's where I see myself going forward, is helping other people make their films, and I really kind of like that idea going forward, kind of almost not necessarily being the mentor role, but helping people make their stuff and, you know, slapping my label on it and going, here, I helped make this, go watch this person's film, it's fantastic. So yeah, that's where I kind of see myself going forward in the future if I continue. You know, obviously Final Report's got a triple meaning, shall I say. So yeah, final in the word is, you know, it's final for a reason. Not that I'm saying I'm quitting anytime soon, but, you know, it's definitely a cap on me making big, kind of very independent films, because it is a lot of work logistically trying to organise that sort of thing. When you're one person trying to get in touch with multiple people, organise it, it's just a logistical nightmare. But on the happier note, we've got stuff still to come. There's more songs out there somewhere of my dad's, some that are unknown, some that we've got, and obviously we've got the original Freddy soundtrack that is technically online already, but we want to kind of release it separately as tracks. With the one that I've got, he did it with his best mate Paul at the time, so I don't know the logistics of doing that, because obviously another person's family is involved with that, so I'll have to see. But aside from that, that is it really for this NickeRMel update, so expect more updates on everything, because, you know me, I can't keep talking. because you can't shut me up. Put a gun to my head and I'll still keep talking. But yes, thank you everybody. Thank you to my viewers, and thank you to my wonderful cast and crew as always. You are amazing. You've kept me going. All your help and support over the years has just been amazing, so thank you so much, and I hope to see you all soon, not only to help me finish off these bloody films, but you know, just be my friends, because you know, you've all been fantastic and I love you. So ciao for now, and thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. So back to me again, from May 2026. I hope you enjoyed the little brief NickeRMel update, and obviously it's been a month since I filmed, probably longer than a month since I filmed that update, and just wanted to give you a bit more update on stuff. I've been in touch with people. Certain people I'm not sure are going to be coming back now. So which is going to lead to a lot of cuts for Object Legacy, which is a shame, but it is what it is. The reason I've held off releasing this film so much is because I wanted it to be the best it can be. It's like the big conclusion to this kind of films that I've been making, but you can't do everything, unfortunately, and you know, that's just the nature of the beast. But aside from that's kind of where we are filming wise. I've been a bit, to an old broken record here, I've been feeling a bit burnt out from just general life, really, so I've not been kind of like chasing it as much as I usually would. I've been doing editing here and there, and obviously I didn't mention it in the main update because it wasn't on my mind at the time, but I've still got a backlog of projects that I've been promising to do. Obviously the wedding video me and my dad filmed last year, which I am working on at the moment, but obviously, you know, it's quite hard obviously to work on that when, you know, it's one of the last big kind of major things we did together that we did all the way through. But aside from that, I'm kind of exclusively editing at the moment, because trying to organise stuff with people at the moment just seems to be an absolute nightmare. So if somebody reaches out to me and says, look, I'm free, we can film, perfect, but I'm kind of sick of being the one constantly, and this isn't any shade at my actors or anything, but I'm kind of sick of constantly reaching out to people and then either getting no's or just getting ignored. So which is fine, because everybody's busy in life, everybody's got their own problems, so the last thing they want to do is come around and make a stupid film. So I completely get it, but it's going to obviously lead to cuts, unfortunately, so that's why I'm trying to get up to date with editing as much, because filming at the moment is kind of not non-existent, but you know, there's been delays and delays, but I'm going to try and stick to releasing Detective Harper reports at the end of summer and Object Legacy winter 2026, so that way they're out to the world, done. I never have to think about them again. And that's not because I don't love the films, I do. It's just when you've been working on something so long, you just as I said in the update, you know, there's a point where you just want to be done with it. And I've been at that point for a while, and these scenes that we haven't filmed, which aside from one, I think with the girls, have all been written since 2015. It's just been, obviously we tried to film them then I had my massive crash out in 2017. I gave up filming for 2018, 2019. I gave up filming for 6 years, and then I came back in 2023, and it's just trying to peeled up the pieces from there, and it just feels like hurdle after hurdle after hurdle. But you don't want to hear me rant and go on about all the negative things. I am working on stuff. I'm also ill, sorry, I've got a blocked nose, it's probably hay fever or something. So expect more behind the scenes, maybe. Obviously we've still got a Warriors Origin to come out, we've got behind the camera costumes and characters part 2. I want to also do a behind the scenes of all the guns and weapons and swords that we've got, because my arsenal has got huge now. I've got like laser sights and dot sights and torches for all the gun like attachments now, so they look sick. So and one of Team Hotel's been around and tried his costume on. I won't name names, but that was quite cool. That was quite fun just to see him in the costume. So yeah, that was quite exciting. So things are moving along just incredibly annoyingly slowly, but that is the nature of the beast, especially when you are an independent filmmaker, not doing it for the money, using your own money to fund yourself. And yeah, but that's all my internal monologue out of the way. I'll see you all soon. I hope you're all well, and thank you so much for chugging along with me on my mad crusade to make a stupid cinematic universe on a budget of like minimum wage. So thank you guys, love you all. Thank you so much for supporting me all over the years. Thank you very much for my cast and crew. You are amazing, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now, take care, and I'll see you soon with whatever I upload next, whatever gets finished next basically. So yeah, I'll see you soon, hopefully. I probably won't do a NickeRMel update for next month because, you know, probably won't be any updates, but you never know, something spontaneous might happen and it might be like a massive update that I might have to share with you. So let's say 50-50. Anyway, bye for now, see you soon, welcome to the 4K era if this video works, and I shall see you soon.